John Major 1990-1997. John Major's ascension to the position of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 1990 marked a significant turning point in British political history. Born on March 29, 1943, in Surrey, Major's early life was far from indicative of his eventual political prominence. Raised in a working-class family, Major's journey to the highest echelons of British politics was characterized by determination, resilience, and a commitment to public service. Before becoming the leader of the Conservative Party and subsequently the Prime Minister, Major held various ministerial roles within the government. His political career gained momentum in the 1980s when he served as Chief Secretary to the Treasury and later as Foreign Secretary under Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. However, it was his unexpected rise to the top leadership position that defined Major's political narrative. The resignation of Margaret Thatcher in November 1990 paved the way for John Major to assume the role of Prime Minister. Major's leadership style, often characterized by pragmatism and a calm demeanor, contrasted with Thatcher's more assertive and ideological approach. As the head of government, Major faced an array of challenges, both domestic and international, which would come to shape the narrative of his premiership. The period from 1990 to 1997 was a time of profound transformation and uncertainty for the United Kingdom. At the global level, the Cold War was coming to an end, and the geopolitical landscape was evolving rapidly. Domestically, the country grappled with economic challenges, social changes, and the aftermath of Margaret Thatcher's divisive policies. Major inherited a nation deeply divided over issues such as economic reform, social inequality, and the role of the state. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent collapse of the Soviet Union had significant implications for the international order, impacting Britain's role in global affairs. Additionally, the European integration process was gaining momentum, presenting both opportunities and challenges for the UK. John Major's early life was marked by modest beginnings and an upbringing that shaped his values and political outlook. Born on March 29, 1943, in Carshalton, Surrey, Major was the son of Tom Major Ball, a former circus performer, and Gwen Major, a music hall dancer. His childhood was not without challenges, and his family's financial struggles provided him with a first-hand understanding of working-class life in post-war Britain. Despite facing adversity, Major demonstrated academic aptitude. He attended Rutlish Grammar School and later worked in a variety of jobs, including as a clerk at the London Electricity Board. His early experiences instilled in him a strong work ethic and a commitment to improving his circumstances through education. Major's entry into formal politics began when he joined the Young Conservatives in the 1960s. His enthusiasm for political engagement and conservative principles led him to play an active role in local party activities. Major's charisma and dedication did not go unnoticed, and in 1968, at the age of 25, he was elected as a councillor in Lambeth. John Major's ascent through the ranks of the Conservative Party was steady and marked by a series of key political appointments. In 1979, he was elected as the Member of Parliament, MP, for Huntingdon, beginning his career in national politics. Major quickly distinguished himself as a capable and pragmatic politician, earning the respect of his peers. Major's rise within the government was swift. He served as Parliamentary Private Secretary to the then Chancellor of the Exchequer, Sir Geoffrey Howe, in 1981. His financial acumen and dedication to public service were further recognized when he was appointed Chief Secretary to the Treasury in 1987. This role positioned Major at the heart of economic policy, providing valuable experience that would later prove crucial during his premiership. In 1989, Major was appointed as Foreign Secretary, overseeing the UK's diplomatic relations during a period of significant global change. His tenure in this role allowed him to hone his skills in international affairs and diplomacy, setting the stage for his later leadership as Prime Minister. The unexpected elevation of John Major to the premiership in 1990 was triggered by the internal political dynamics within the Conservative Party and the declining popularity of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. The party faced internal dissent over issues such as European integration and the community charge, commonly known as the poll tax. Amid growing discontent within the Conservative Party and a declining approval rating for Thatcher, a leadership challenge emerged. In November 1990, Facing the prospect of losing support in a leadership contest, Margaret Thatcher resigned as Prime Minister. This move paved the way for John Major to enter the leadership race. When John Major assumed office as Prime Minister in 1990, he inherited a set of complex economic challenges from the preceding Thatcher era. Margaret Thatcher's economic policies, commonly referred to as Thatcherism, were characterized by free market reforms, privatization, and a commitment to reducing the role of the state in the economy. While these policies had achieved some success in curbing inflation and promoting economic growth, they also left behind social and economic issues. One of the major challenges was the persistently high levels of unemployment, particularly in certain regions of the country. Additionally, income inequality had widened, and there were concerns about the impact of market-oriented reforms on social cohesion. Major faced the daunting task of addressing these challenges while maintaining the economic stability achieved under Thatcher. John Major pursued a pragmatic and centrist approach to economic policy, distinct from the more ideologically driven Thatcherite agenda. His government focused on addressing the social consequences of economic reforms while maintaining a commitment to fiscal responsibility. One of Major's key economic initiatives was the Citizens' Charter, aimed at improving public services and enhancing consumer rights. Major also continued Thatcher's privatization efforts but sought a more cautious and measured approach. Notable privatizations during his tenure included the railways and the coal industry. In an effort to stimulate economic growth and address unemployment, Major's government implemented measures such as the creation of training and employment programs. The introduction of the Private Finance Initiative, PFI, aimed to leverage private sector investment in public infrastructure projects. A defining moment of John Major's economic tenure was the crisis within the European Exchange Rate Mechanism, ERM, in 1992. The ERM was a precursor to the euro, and it aimed to stabilize exchange rates between participating European countries. However, the pound came under severe pressure due to economic challenges in the UK, including high inflation and an overvalued currency. In an attempt to defend the pound's value, Major's government raised interest rates. This move proved unsustainable, leading to a speculative attack on the pound and ultimately forcing the UK to exit the ERM on September 16, 1992, a day famously known as Black Wednesday. While the crisis was a significant setback for Major's government, it also prompted a shift towards more flexible exchange rate arrangements and contributed to the eventual economic recovery. John Major's approach to social issues and welfare during his tenure as Prime Minister was characterized by a pragmatic stance that aimed to address social challenges while maintaining fiscal responsibility. Major inherited a society marked by the economic reforms and social divisions of the Thatcher era. His government sought to strike a balance between the need for economic efficiency and addressing the social consequences of those reforms. One of Major's notable initiatives was the Back to Basics campaign launched in 1993, which aimed to emphasize traditional family values and personal responsibility. The campaign was, however, short-lived and faced criticism due to a series of personal scandals involving Conservative Party members, which diverted attention from its intended focus. In terms of welfare reform, Major's government introduced measures to combat social issues such as child poverty. The Family Credit Scheme, later replaced by the Working Families Tax Credit, aimed to provide financial support to low-income families. Major's government recognized the importance of education as a key driver of social mobility and economic progress. To address the challenges within the education system, reforms were implemented to enhance standards and improve access. The introduction of the national curriculum in 1988 aimed to standardize educational content and ensure a consistent level of education across schools. Additionally, Major's government increased investment in education and sought to improve teacher training and professional development. Major also promoted measures to expand access to higher education. The creation of the Open University was part of these efforts, providing an opportunity for individuals, regardless of their background, to pursue higher education through distance learning. Major's approach to healthcare policies focused on a combination of maintaining the principles of the National Health Service, NHS, while introducing reforms to enhance efficiency and accessibility. One significant change during Major's term was the establishment of the NHS Executive, which aimed to decentralize decision-making and provide greater autonomy to individual NHS trusts. This move was intended to improve the responsiveness of healthcare services to local needs. Major's government also increased funding for the NHS, recognizing the importance of a well-funded healthcare system. However, challenges such as waiting times for certain treatments and access to healthcare resources persisted. John Major's tenure as Prime Minister from 1990 to 1997 coincided with a period of significant change in global geopolitics. Major played a crucial role in shaping the United Kingdom's stance on various international issues and engaged in diplomatic efforts to address global challenges. Major's diplomatic approach was characterized by pragmatism and a commitment to maintaining the UK's influence on the world stage. He emphasized the importance of the UK as a key player in international affairs and sought to build and strengthen diplomatic ties with other nations. One of the major international crises during Major's premiership was the Gulf War in 1990–1991, triggered by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. Major actively participated in the coalition formed to counter Iraq's aggression. The UK's military involvement, including sending troops to the region, showcased Major's commitment to global stability and adherence to international law. In addition to the Gulf War, Major faced other international challenges, including conflicts in the Balkans and Africa. His government was involved in diplomatic efforts to address these crises, working with the international community to find peaceful resolutions. The issue of European integration played a central role in Major's foreign policy. During his premiership, the Maastricht Treaty was a significant development in the European Union's evolution. Major faced internal party dissent over the treaty, particularly from Eurosceptic members of the Conservative Party. Major's government negotiated opt-outs from certain provisions of the Maastricht Treaty, aiming to balance the UK's engagement with Europe while addressing concerns about sovereignty. The Conservative Party's internal divisions over European integration would later impact the party's unity and contribute to challenges in Major's leadership. John Major faced significant challenges in managing internal dissent within the Conservative Party during his time as Prime Minister. A notable source of dissent was the issue of European integration, which deeply divided the party. Eurosceptic members, often referred to as Maastricht rebels, opposed Major's support for the Maastricht Treaty, leading to a series of rebellions and conflicts within the party. Major's leadership was tested as he sought to maintain party unity while advancing a vision of Britain's role within the European Union. The internal strife over Europe contributed to a sense of instability within the Conservative Party and impacted Major's ability to enact a cohesive and unified policy agenda. Another significant political challenge for John Major was the rise of the New Labour movement under Tony Blair. The Labour Party, led by Blair, underwent a process of modernization and rebranding, distancing itself from traditional socialist policies and embracing a more centrist and market-friendly agenda. Major faced the formidable task of countering Blair's popularity and appeal to voters. The emergence of New Labour presented a fresh challenge to the Conservative Party's dominance, as Blair successfully positioned Labour as a more electable and modern alternative. Major responded to this political shift by attempting to portray the Conservative Party as a party of the centre, emphasizing economic stability and social responsibility. However, his efforts were hampered by internal party divisions and the challenges posed by the Eurosceptic faction. John Major's leadership was also marred by a series of political scandals that had a significant impact on public trust and perception. These scandals, often involving allegations of misconduct by Conservative Party members, diverted attention from Major's policy agenda and contributed to a sense of instability within the government. One such scandal was the "Cash for Questions" affair, which revealed instances of Conservative members of Parliament accepting money in exchange for asking questions in the House of Commons. The scandal tarnished the party's image and eroded public trust in the integrity of the political process. The lasting impact of John Major's tenure as Prime Minister is a subject of continued examination and debate. Economically, Major's policies are associated with a period of relative stability, but the crisis and lingering economic challenges left a mark on his legacy. Socially, his commitment to education and healthcare reforms aimed at addressing societal issues, but political scandals and internal divisions overshadowed these efforts. In terms of foreign policy, Major's diplomatic involvement in the Gulf War showcased the UK's commitment to global stability. However, the challenges posed by the changing dynamics of European integration and internal party dissent left a lasting impact on the Conservative Party. Major's political legacy includes the evolution of the Conservative Party in the aftermath of his leadership, as subsequent leaders navigated the party toward a more centrist and inclusive stance. The rise of New Labour under Tony Blair marked a shift in the political landscape, and Major's role in shaping the Conservative Party's response to these changes is part of his enduring legacy. Major's leadership is remembered for its attempts to address economic and social challenges, navigate global crises, and position the UK in a changing international order. His legacy, while marked by both achievements and setbacks, adds a nuanced chapter to the narrative of British political history, contributing to ongoing discussions about the role of leaders during times of transformation and the evolution of political ideologies in the late 20th century. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it informative, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future.